What is going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to talk to you about Lucid. I want to go over some of the data points, break it down, what is moving it today, and go over everything else that you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So Lucid is up 3.54%, 1137 the low, 1205 the high, and another day of extremely low volume. So 3.9 million shares being traded. Of that though, most is linked to algorithmic trading. And this has been a very common scenario that I kind of mentioned to you. Most likely is linked to the whole Japan rate hike that did actually pass after hours yesterday. But even looking at the flow, algorithmic trading is really moving Lucid higher. Even on the secondary market so far, we are seeing roughly around 5 transactions, 2 buys and 3 sells. So as bad as it sounds, there's actually more institutions buying today rather than the last couple of trading days, but still, nonetheless though, today the market is moving because of this. So we did have a couple of data points that came out. Existing home sales came in at 4.13 million, forecast of 3.9, and then Michigan consumer sentiment came in at 52.9 versus 53. Kind of mixed, but as a byproduct, the likelihood of a cut for the upcoming January 28th meeting did go down slightly. So now there is a 19.9% likelihood of a 25 basis point cut versus a 26.6. Nothing really coming out from Lucid, no SEC filings or anything along those lines. When it comes to even social media, they've not really done that much in posts. And this is something, again, a very big pet peeve of mine, because Mark came onto the scene and said, hey, I'm all about marketing. Things are going to be different with Lucid. Not so much, because we see, yes, a couple PRs here and there. In my opinion, this one right here about the certified pre-owned vehicle program, that's just crap. That didn't need to be put as news, but we did have this. So CES is coming right around the corner. And for those of you that tuned into my very late video last night, I kind of felt compelled to do a video because of this tweet. So Nick put out this. I'm not going to dive deep into it. So if you want to listen to me kind of rant about this and give you kind of the full breakdown, listen to it. It was kind of like midnight, but nonetheless, this is kind of the moral of the story. We are focused on execution and being transparent. So Nick, who is the head of communications, is saying that Lucid is being transparent. So we had Nuro, and even though Nuro, technically he's, or I said he, but they are technically like the small player in the whole trifecta. And the trifecta, what I mean is we have Uber, Nuro, and Lucid. Even though Lucid's still not that big of a company, Nuro is small, but their marketing is on point. They are out there putting out news here, left, right, and center, all this stuff. They're giving Lucid a lot of credit, and they're tagging them every single time. So this was posted at 10 a.m. and it just says, heading to CES 2026, come witness the future of autonomous electric mobility built by Lucid Motors, driven by Nuro, available exclusively on Uber. Good stuff. Again, deserving of a round of applause. Myself, I would love Lucid to do this type of news rather than the crap that they do. But one thing that is rather infuriating is Nuro posts this and Uber does the clapping emoji. So definitely awesome stuff. Uber's paying attention. And do we see Lucid? No. Where's Lucid? Why is Lucid just have their head stuck up their ass? I feel like Lucid, my interpretation of Lucid, ever since the beginning, it's not just recent, since 2021, they act all kind of sophisticated. They think that they're better than people. So just because Nuro kind of tags them, they don't engage at all. And so for those of you that actually have watched a lot of my videos, I actually have brought up Nuro quite a lot because they love to do these types of things. Even just scrolling through, they love to engage with their partners. And I don't know if it's been recently, but they have tagged, like, obviously this. Definitely, that is a Gravity. They have a lot of things that they tag Lucid in, and which is pretty good, again, marketing for Lucid. But Lucid doesn't give two shits, pardon my French, about Nuro, which is rather unfortunate. So you even have this individual, Mike, so roughly 1,200 followers, just saying Bitcoin, Rivian, and Lucid holder, just said that Lucid marketing team and Nuro do something like this. So even they're saying, like, come on, Lucid, like, it doesn't take much. You can have AI at your fingertips and you don't have to spend millions of dollars to do kind of advertisements anymore. You can just get AI for like a $100 a month kind of plan, and you can make these types of videos. It doesn't cost much. So I think Lucid really does need a massive slap in the face just to say, hey, your marketing sucks. And luckily enough, the broader market is actually recovering today, despite it being quad witching. But I think Lucid really needs to like start 2026 with like a lot of good intensity with good marketing, whether it just be these types of videos or something else. But Lucid really does need to kind of step it up, in my opinion. Shorts are returning 261,000 shares today, but we are still at all-time high short interest numbers, 33.88%. So again, I've been covering Lucid for a very long time. You can kind of see this is the history all the way back to 2021. So way back in 2022, for instance, January, short interest was about 15%, give or take. And it, since then, has only progressed. There was a momentary kind of push lower in February 2025, when it went down to like 19%, but it went right back up. So definitely, I think Lucid really needs to do something, because shorts doing what they do, it's not good for anyone at all. And so I think in general, Lucid is going to continue to bleed until shorts just get the F out. And they're not going to do that until Lucid really kicks ass and starts ramping up. So even though, again, I hate to do these types of rants on good days, but to be fully honest, today, Lucid being green, I know a lot of people are hyped up, but it has nothing to do with Lucid. It has more to do with the broader market that Lucid is just piggybacking off of. But nonetheless, looking at the options, 257,000 in calls, 728,000 in puts, so kind of low dollar value, matches with the common stock though. 51% of all the options being done are bullish in nature. From a bull standpoint, you see a recovery to like 12 to 1250 over the next couple of weeks. Bears are anticipating for it to be sub 1150, so kind of evenly divided. With today being Friday though, just take notice of this. So this is all the open interest. You have 1,000 at the 12, 1,000 at the 1250, and then 4,000 at that 13. So where we are at, so 1150, we have astonishing 322. So definitely no gamma squeeze, nothing along those lines. And since shorts aren't really doing all that much, so this does match with that. So these are all the transactions occurring on the dark pool. Aside from all that, with it right now at 1186, it is smack dab on this S1. So that's going to be a key point. You really want to watch for it to get over if you're going to see kind of a start of a recovery. 1440 would be the next strong target. And I'm looking at the one-day chart as well. So these are very strong support and resistance points. So that 1186 is going to be key. So like I said, we're kind of on that right now. 1029 is going to be the next strong support. So really needs to close above that 1186. Aside from all of that though, on the actual chart, it is still below the 10-day moving average. It's making some progress, of course, bouncing off of that all-time low of 1108, which again, for those of you that have been in Lucid for a while, that is $1.10. Crazy stuff. Absolutely insane. But nonetheless, looking at the market position, you see a little bit more willing buyers, but it's more oriented towards roughly like 1150 and lower. But still, Lucid, based on the stochastic RSI, is very oversold. So all Lucid does truly need is a nice gentle push. That is it. And it honestly doesn't take much nowadays to really get algorithmic trading on your side. Even, I know I've brought this up in the past, but when Lucid started to really move higher back in September, that again had nothing really to do with them. It was more just algorithmic trading. It was piggybacking off the broader market. That's why Lucid went higher. But Lucid can do themselves a favor by just putting out some simple, good, concrete news. Because instead of doing like interviews, which again, I think the last couple of interviews have been pretty good, but you can actually put it in a form of a actual PR and just say, hey, we are doing 1,000 plus like production every single week. Just do that, like that, and maybe just some other general updates on some new kind of studios that are popping up, potential expansion. And then they already know they hate retail, to be fully honest. That's why Mark mentioned they want more institutions rather than retail. But retail, we do a lot more due diligence than the average stock. So they put out saying, hey, we're expanding to UK, like we are going to piece together like left, right, and center and kind of come to a conclusion. So I think Lucid definitely does need to, like I said, moral of the story, get their stuff together ASAP. So yeah, let me know your general thoughts on Lucid. Are you taking advantage today? Are you buying? Are you kind of locking in some profits? Or are you buying long calls? I actually saw some individuals saying that they are buying some long calls, which if you do truly believe in Lucid, obviously these videos, I'm not here to get you to buy nor to sell. I'm just kind of giving you my interpretation of the data points and so forth. But if you actually do believe that Lucid is going to recover to, let's say, $20, that works out to be a 69% increase just on the common stock. If you buy a long call, let's say to December 18th, 2026, you can make a pretty good amount. So whether you sell a short put or a long call, you can make about 222% return on collateral, 97% return on risk, depending on how you play it, but you can make some substantial money with options. So take the time, research, do that, but let me know your viewpoint. One final thing, I did lower the prices for this weekend only for more of a promotion on my stacked account. So if you're looking for some solid on-point buy signals on stocks, options, crypto, many of which, especially lately, have been absolutely on point, pop over there. I lowered it down to $20 from, I think it was like $55. So I currently have about 99 members. So lock in. I'm gonna only have a max maybe about 120, 130. So if you want, get in over the weekend. If you get in, price will never increase whatsoever. So link to that is in the description below and also the comments. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.